If you want to make some picks on your favorite sports, check out Underdog Fantasy's Pick'em game where you choose higher or lower on between 2 to 8 players and can win up to 325 times your entry. And using code ZERK when you sign up, you'll get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a free pick.
The whole thing wobbin', wobbin', wobbin'. When I come around, got the whole thing wobbin'.
Alright, so the Madden 26 deep dive blog came out last night. There's a couple things I want to go over because they're really big. Now, I do want to give a shout out to Brandon Collier for being a part of the Noti Gang. If you guys want a chance, shout out the next video, drop a like in the vid, make sure you guys are subbed to the channel, notification bell and comment below, Noti Gang. Also, didn't say shout out to you guys been copying the Underdog picks with the NBA Finals Game 5. We cashed in on this pick right here for over $300, and we have the NBA Finals Game 6 coming up here on Thursday. If you guys check out Underdog Fantasy right now, use code ZERK, you get up to $1,000 in bonus funds and a 0.5 free pick when you guys sign up. Also, make sure you guys check out that giveaway link down below in the comment section. I am giving away my 5th MVP edition giveaway. Even if you guys already have Madden 26 and College Football 26 pre-ordered, the winner gets $150 in gift cards, so you can still go ahead and use the gift cards on packs or whatever else you want to. Make sure to check that out, link down below. Alright, so let's go over this deep dive blog, guys. Now, I will tell you, I'm not going to go over every single thing that is in this blog because this is huge. If you guys have not already seen it, it's over on EA's website. You can find it very easily over there, and if you guys follow me over on Twitter, you probably have seen a couple tweets that I put out since last night talking about some of the stuff in this because there is seriously so much in this blog. This video would be like 2 hours long if I went through and talked about every single thing. So we're not doing that, but I'm going to highlight some of the more important things in my opinion that I want to talk to you guys about. Now, I will tell you one thing I did talk to you guys about a lot already is how they've mentioned different quarterbacks, right? Different QB animations. We already know about that. Different throws that certain QBs are going to make. I did just want to bring this up right here. We do have different in-pocket behaviors. So here's a list of all the new ball holds. So yes, they're going to be holding the ball a little bit differently. You can see all the different ones right here. I've also had a more active in-pocket idles. So the QBs will be bouncing on their feet more and or patting the ball and moving their head around to find open receivers. Now, my biggest question is right here. With all of these, right, for visual quality, a big benefit of having unique ball holds is that they align better the way each QB's throwing motion works and puts much less stress on blending the animations together when trying to account for a variety of throwing motions from a very few ball holds. This means that the complete throwing motion from hold to throw will look smooth and more athletic while also being more responsive to the button press. So my question is, with all of this right here, will these also have an effect on how fast the ball actually gets out, or will it be very, very minimal to where you won't even really notice it? What I'm really hoping to see when it comes to Madden 26 and different QBs is, as I've told you guys many, many times, I want it to be actually much different from Lamar Jackson to Jaden Daniels, right? And I think those two have the same release, if I remember correctly, here in Madden Ultimate Team right now. I want them to be a little bit different, right? I want certain things to be slightly different to where one of them might be better on short throws, one might be better on medium, one might be better on deep. I want every single QB to have something unique about them, or at least different, so we're not all just hunting after who has Lamar's release. There's a lot more stuff in there also about quarterbacks, but I did want to talk about this right here because I found this very, very interesting as well. Now, I will tell you, some of these probably aren't going to truly matter too much when it comes to Madden Ultimate Team specifically, but some of these will. As you guys see right here, QB traits, the QB revamp doesn't just end there. The team needed to make sure playing against an AI QB we feel just as fun and rewarding as a human. To accomplish this, we've completely redone player traits. Madden NFL 26 will have 50 new player traits at launch, which serve as the mentals or decision-making for CPU-controlled players. They have no impact on outcomes at all. They simply allow AI players to differentiate themselves from each other by how they uniquely make decisions on the field. Now, the thing is, they kind of mentioned a lot about CPU, right? But some of these abilities in here, I'm going to go over the guys, I think will matter a little bit when it comes to if you use that quarterback in specifically Ultimate Team. As you guys can see, there are 50 traits in here, right? So some of these traits like look for stars, QBs of this trait will look to throw their star receivers more. Risk taker, QBs of this trait will tend to force the ball downfield and throw it into tight windows. Conservative, stuff like that. A lot of these right here are not going to really affect us. It's just kind of cool to see they added in some of these stuff. But there are a few here that I think actually could affect Ultimate Team. And although this one doesn't actually affect anything in Ultimate Team, I thought this was funny. Seeing ghosts, this is literally Sam Darnold. After a sack, QB with this trait will tend to force a pass their first read for the next 3 plays, resetting at the end of the drive. As you guys know, Sam Darnold versus the Patriots said he was seeing ghosts out there, so I think they definitely added that one in there on purpose. Now, something like this, though, Paranoid, as you guys know, we kind of already have something like this when it comes to Madden Ultimate Team, right? If you go to mutt.gg, you'll see Senses Pressure. Some of them literally already say Paranoid on there, but yes, you can see they did emphasize it here. QB's trait reacts more to nearby defenders, feeling pressured even in less intense situations. The fact that they pointed this out, though, makes me wonder, will it be even more apparent when it comes to using a QB who has Senses Pressure, Paranoid in Madden Ultimate Team? Also Oblivious, that's the thing already. QB's traits remain calm near defenders, feeling less pressure even in intense situations. So again, will that be even more apparent? Now, there was a lot of stuff in there, guys, that, again, I did not go over, like playbooks, AI, coaching AI, all that stuff, coaching tendencies. I've kind of covered a lot of that before in previous videos here, but this is something that I haven't talked to you guys about because I didn't mention it. Coaching adjustments. We have some new coaching adjustment changes you guys might care about here. We've added a new coach adjustment that allows you to adjust the alignment of your safeties on defense. This I actually think is going to be really big. Your safeties can play deep, 25 yards at the line, prevent, 32, tight or close, in addition to the default alignment from the called play. You can adjust the safeties width to spread, wide, and pinch. You can even adjust the midpoint with the options being left, right, strong, weak, to the field hash, or to the boundary hash. You can align your safeties to get involved versus the run, get deeper to not give up any big plays, and everything in between to keep your opponent guessing. That I actually think is going to be really big. I think that's going to change a lot of things, honestly, when it comes to how you can personally run your defense. Going to be a lot of different options out there. And again, you can kind of switch up how your safeties play with where exactly they are spread out on the field, how high, how low. And also, we're not there yet, but they also have a custom zone, so we'll get there too. Then also, guys, some other big things here. RPO, right? How many of you guys hate facing RPOs? I know I do. As you guys can see, new adjustments will allow you to dictate how your AI defenders play versus reads and peak RPOs. You can decide when you want them to play the run first or the pass first. So basically, you can have your defenders go ahead and play the pass first, and you yourself can shoot the gap to stop the run every single time if you want to go ahead and do that, or if you want to go the other way and have them play the run and force your opponent to throw to that slant route or throw to whatever, and you again can then go ahead and use her on it and make a play. Also, guys, they have now took away conservative ball carrier. I know a lot of people out there like to use conservative ball carrier, and as you guys see, this adjustment will now only be activated by AI-controlled ball carriers. The adjustment was used as an unfair advantage in Madden 25 to avoid fumbles without carrying any real risk. And Madden 26 try to avoid fumbling in late game situations, rely on the cover ball mechanic by pressing right bumper or R1. When using cover ball in sim game styles, you have a greatly reduced chance of fumbling uncompetitive. As long as cover ball is active before a tackle starts, you'll be totally immune to fumble. So you basically can't fumble as long as you're using that, but yeah, no more conservative. And then again, football weather here, guys. This is something I talked to you guys about, especially yesterday with the snow and how much it covers your visibility. Also different animations triggering in the snow as well as the rain. I think it's pretty sick, and I hope we see it in Madden Ultimate Team personally. I think it'd be fun. I know a lot of people kind of have mixed opinions about it. Some people think, oh, you know, that would suck because you're not going to be able to throw the ball, not going to be able to see. I think it's fun. It's a good change up. That's just my personal opinion. I could definitely, I think like from Twitter anyways, I did make a post about it. It's kind of like 80-20, it appears over there anyways. Like 80% of people want to see it in MUT, 20% want to be able to see the field the entire time, which up to you. Also, another thing I did want to mention here, which I did talk about yesterday, but this is something that people are very, very excited about. The new depth chart positions when it comes to Madden 26. They do have Edge, Sam, Mike, Will. They have nose tackle as well, and even gadget player. You can put someone in your lineup like Taysom Hill or Debo. Also, guys, we have some pretty big things when it comes to cover 4 and man coverages. As you guys can see right here, cover 4, new 4-strong trips and bunch logic. For round concepts that send a back out of the backfield to a trip side, we've added a push check to our quarters and palms coverages. This dynamic adjustment pushes or bumps the coverage over to the trip side and forces a man match on the receivers as they get into their routes. Rather than relying on spot drops to cover 4 threats on a side, this check makes defenders more intelligent about which receivers to leverage and less likely to blow the coverage when number 4 becomes number 1. We also got an updated China call. We revamped the China call concept in our quarters, palms, and 3 match coverages versus combos. The number 1 wide receiver runs a short route like a drag or corner smoke, and the number 2 wide receiver goes deep. We have improved the techniques of the DBs to allow the cornerback to quickly leverage the deeper route and the flat defender to handle the short route. So cover 4 definitely got some pretty good improvements here. We also have deep half. We've improved the AI of our deep half defenders that they reach the landmark quicker and with more urgency as they gain more depth. Players should feel more confident using cover 2 alignment, which aligns closely with the current NFL trend of non-traditional Tampa 2 coverages. That is a big thing there with the cover 2. Specifically what I was thinking about when they talked about how you're able to control how far out your safeties go towards the outside or towards the center of the field. I am really interested to see how you can kind of mess with where they line up on the hashes and make cover 2 maybe really good. That's going to be some stuff to test out. We also have some man coverage changes too. The first improvement to man coverage is a new defender cut reaction system based on the ratings matchup of the players in the leverage. This system will allow receivers to create separation more authentically and have a better variety in the amount of separation. When a receiver wins in their cut, the defender can lose balance, allowing for a window to make a big play. Lockdown man corners, though, won't be so charitable in the space they allow. Leverage matters more. The leverage of the defender is going to play a much more significant role in receiver openness than in the past. The base win chance formula is still the man coverage versus the route running. The leverage side of the defender, however, will have a significant impact on the outcomes as well as the amount of separation the receiver can gain. If the defender is aligned with outside leverage at the snap, the receiver have a much lower chances to win on a cut to the outside. And even when he does, the amount of separation gained will be far less than if he cuts to the inside. This can mean just a step separation winning versus outside leverage versus 2 to 3 steps of separation when making a cut in the opposite direction. And they kind of go a little bit more into that too. As you guys see, leverage will also play a big role when matching from a zone coverage. Defenders will be more intentional with their man leverage point based on the rules of zone coverage they are matching from. If the zone calls take away the outside, when they match into man, they'll stay in an outside leverage position, which make the coverage stickier versus the concepts it aims to take away. We know man coverage is a delicate balance. It doesn't take much to make it either too overpowered or really not viable. We've added on a few improvements to how individual defenders play the ball for better coverage balance to reduce the frequency of physic interceptions. We refine the logic for when an AI controlled defender can attempt a catch. If he isn't facing the ball or hasn't turned his head to see the ball, he won't be able to attempt to catch it all. I actually like that change quite a lot, and it will instead play the receiver for a catch knockout more often. You'll see more variety with new SWAT animations. There will be 4 more animation coverage when defenders try to swat the ball from many different angles. Now, I will tell you guys something here. If you're a little bit concerned about this, with man coverage and also zone coverage and how they're talking about it, and if you think maybe it's not going to be good enough or maybe it is going to be too overpowered, especially so when it comes to having your defender shade inside, shade outside, whatever the case is. Let me tell you this, it's much far down here in the blog, but I will cover it there. They made sure to note that they now can make patches much sooner. They don't have to go through everything they had to do before to make a patch where they had to go through the client, and then obviously there's a reason, in case you guys haven't noticed, we don't get an update every single week when it comes to gameplay, right? Usually it's every 3 to 4 weeks, it tends to be more like a month or so, but sometimes there's like emergency ones they have to get out there. To me, it kind of seems like EA can go ahead and make very small tunes to coverages, stuff like this in particular, almost whenever they want. So if there is enough feedback out there in the community that says, hey, when the game drops, man coverage just isn't good enough, like we're just getting torched out here, they can probably make a change pretty quick. So just note that. I think that is huge that they put that in the blog. Also, some other big improvements they said directly from community feedback: increased touch height for swats to give defenders more balanced reactions to high ball throws and deep rack catches, improved mid-air interaction logic for defenders so that the interactions look and feel more realistic and situation specific, especially versus high ball throws. Zone depth and custom zone flat defenders will now sprint instead of backpedaling to their desired depth when set to 20 yards or more. Cover 3 sky, cloud, and hard flat plays now play country cover 3, which means that the underneath defenders will place zone spot drop zones regardless of the offensive formation to give players full control in scheming up 3-by-1 formations and bunch. all of the cover 3 match and buzz coverages play skinny and skate respectively, which will allow the defenders to match up better to the popular routes like flutter verticals on the 3 receiver side. The skinny check is the match principle in cover 3 sky, with the backside hook curl defender will be responsible for the vertical route from the number 3 receiver on the trip side. Also have custom defensive zones, guys. Now this I'm actually super interested to play around with as well. Last year we introduced custom route stems, which players enjoyed because of creativity allowed on offense. This year the direct defensive counter of custom zones are in play. Custom zones allow you to tell your zone defense exactly where you want them to cover. The control scheme is similar to the custom stems. Bring up the hot route menu for an individual defender and pre-play. Hold down left bumper /L1 and move your zone coverage up or down. So you can literally set it exactly where you want them to be. And also, guys, route commit. This is going to be a very big thing when it does come, especially so I feel like to man coverage. But you can see as your opponent beating you on the corner route, route commit 1, triangle to bring up the cover adjustments, then A/X to pick an individual receiver, or all of your defensive backs in man coverage look for outside breaking routes to lock it down. Beware though, in any in-breaking routes, you will be lost by your defenders, potentially them wide open. So essentially when it comes to this, you can fully commit if your opponent is doing nothing but beating you on corners, beating you on slants. You can say, hey, stop this slant. But if your opponent at that moment then runs an out route, you are cooked. Also, you can just go ahead and shade to the inside, shade to the outside, everything like that. And yes, you will then have, a little bit less chance to fully break it down. Also have less chance of getting left in the dust there. With route commit and shading, easy to read opponents can get shut down with your adjustments to the line of scrimmage if you pick up on their play call habits. I felt like this was actually a really big thing right here, guys. Block steering. So as you guys know, when you're running in the open field, right, you're trying to get your wide receivers, or even if you have an offensive lineman in front of you, to block a certain player. Well, it's a lot different this year. So as you guys can see, our latest innovation comes to the trenches in Madden 26. It's built on the back of our animation branching technology that also helps power our physics-based gameplay. Block steering is a new mechanic on the defensive side of the ball that keeps you in control of your player even when engaged in a one-on-one block. As the name suggests, it gives you the ability to steer the interaction. With block steering, you'll find it puts more control in your hands and better reflects the physics and ratings of the players involved in the interactions. The first application is right in the trenches. When your controlling defender get engaged right off the snap, instead of flicking the stick to attempt a block shed or disengage, you'll now have additional controls in the left stick to steer the blocker in the backfield, or side to side like a bull rush in the pass game, or using the button press technique in the run game. The amount of movement you'll have of the block depends on the player ratings, the minimum size, speed, and position of 2 players when they get engaged. The second application is more for the second level of the defense. When running laterally to make a play to the outside or try to get downhill to fit a gap in the defense, you'll now keep your direction and momentum when you get engaged in a block. Instead of feeling like you're getting snatched or held with no way to control your movement, you'll still have left stick control to move the block and engagement. Again, the amount of movement is based on the ratings and momentum of the players involved. Now, when I was talking about how you're going to be in the open field and trying to get your wide receivers and everything to block, that comes in a second, and that's going to be here when it comes to the leverage system. As you guys can see, we've improved how blocking works to make it feel more realistic and help you trust what you see when running the ball. This new leverage system knows what leverage desired by blocker and defender when they get engaged, and then based on the ratings, matchup, and pose of the players, can use all of that to inform the selection of the animation so you can easily see which player, the blocker or the defender, wins the gap. For example, if the offense wants to run a zone run in the B gap versus a 3-technique defensive tackle, the guard is attempting to get his head to the play side of the 3-tech so that he can win the B gap. But the 3-tech is not supposed to get reached unless he's played the inside gap. So he desires to win the B gap to force the running back into a different lane based on the ratings of the guard and the D tackle and their body positions at the point of engagement. The proper animation will trigger that'll put either the blocker or the defender in the gap, with the other struggling to take it over. So you'll really be able to notice when it comes to this who's going to have the advantage, so you can try to go ahead, bounce the outside, bounce the inside. It says right here, whichever player has head leverage in that gap has a significant advantage in winning the gap. If the blocker wins, the defender will have a harder time shedding into the B gap or steering into the B gap, and the ball carrier will be able to have confidence that his guard will hold the B gap long enough to burst through it. But if the defender wins the gap, he's likely to push his blocker into the hole or quickly shed to make a play. Now also, guys, when it comes to pass blocking, they added a couple new mechanics right here. One is called on-target defender. So similar to ID the Mike mechanics, this allows you to tell your line to ignore a player This is a useful mechanic to bust out against someone who likes to hover the linebacker over a guard or center and then drop into coverage. Obviously, that is a big thing when it comes to people figuring out how to send blitzes, is they just bring that linebacker down, they hover it over, the offensive lineman then will try to go after them when you snap the ball, and then you have someone coming through free. This is going to help that. And this is really a key point that I wanted to bring up to you guys is superstar abilities. Now, I have seen for the most part, okay, over on Twitter, I'd say it's about 90-10. 90% of people really like this change. 10% of people really hate this change. And to be honest with you, I feel like I got to play the game first before I can say if I like this or if I don't. Because when I first saw this, I'm going to be honest, the first thing I thought was, heck yes, people can't get bailed out by KOs anymore. But also, this adds more inconsistency to the game. Now, as you guys see right here, superstar abilities that impact outcomes will no longer have a built-in guarantees, which is another change the players have been requesting. So instead of guaranteed or nearly guaranteed, you'll instead see increased chances close to 50% of the ability basically working. Now, of the abilities they mentioned here, of course, we have stuff like tank, edge threat, goal line stuff, inside stuff. But a big one here that I saw instantly and I like the most is all this. KOs, okay? So KOs are not going to be guaranteed. I hate that they put pick artist on here, by the way. Pick artist should just work 100% of the time. That's an ability that should just work, all right? I'm tired of the dropped interceptions. I'm sure you guys are as well. Pick artist should just work 100% of the time. They also have some other stuff on here, though, too, like route tech, honorary lineman, secure protector, which is a big one, edge protector, all of that. But really the biggest one would be the KOs for me. But my question is, how do you guys feel about this? Because number one, your opponent can't necessarily depend on abilities to save them, right? Your opponent can't depend on a KO getting a knockout to knock out that touchdown, that game-winning TD in the back of the end zone. They're going to have to make the correct adjustments and just have their players there to actually play the ball. On the other side, though, you could be driving down the field and you could be going to go ahead and get that game-winning touchdown. You have secure protectors out there. Well, your secure protector didn't light up, but unfortunately for you, your opponent's edge threat elite, yeah, that did light up, and that might be a major issue. So you guys can let me know what you think about this. Again, I've seen very split opinions on this. I think a lot of people, especially pro players, are most certainly on the side of not liking this, and that's understandable, right? The last thing you want is when you're playing for a $50,000 game is your KO to not light up, or for your secure protector to not light up and you get beat around the edge and you get sacked and it's game over for you. So let me know what you guys think about this. I think, again, it's kind of one of those things, I got to play the game, right? Whenever the beta drops, which I think is going to be very soon here, we got to go ahead and play the game and see exactly how it feels. See exactly what percent, close to 50% is that, and yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of KOs not always working, that's for sure. But also, you're going to be pretty mad when your KOs don't work, right? And you're really, really dependent on it to work there. But I guess, again, just don't depend on the KOs. Don't depend on the abilities. I don't know. I'm kind of iffy on it. So that's pretty much everything there, guys. Also, right here, I did want to go ahead and cover this here. Again, they have the ability to tune gameplay without the need for a client update. This will allow us to be more agile and respond to gameplay feedback faster. Gameplay tuning primarily deals with any type of success chance, reaction time, timing windows that can be safely modified during the season. So, again, they just said right there, they can make gameplay updates. Maybe not the biggest gameplay update ever, but some things, again, when it comes to like man coverage, zone coverage, all of that, they can make them a lot quicker, which I absolutely love. And the full route tree is available by default in passing hot routes, which means Hot Route Master doesn't matter anymore. So with that being said, guys, that is everything I wanted to cover from this blog. I know this is probably a pretty long video here, but yeah, they dropped this yesterday after I posted that video last night, and I definitely wanted to cover it all today. So with that being said, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Drop a like on it, hit that sub button down below. Make sure to check out Underdog Fantasy. Use code ZERK. Follow me over on Twitter for my picks. I will catch you guys later today with a roster revolution and some leaks. And if you guys enjoyed this video, check out these.